a fairly new member, and she comes to us on a very high recommendation. I will let her tell you about herself, but I do know she's been in San Clemente for a long time, and I also know she's got a lot of good stories to tell. Please help me with a warm welcome of Chris Castillo.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I wanted to share with you this black sand that I collected on the beaches of the Big Island in Hawaii. I began to think about the journey this sand had made and how it had evolved. It started in the core of the earth, erupted through a volcano, flowed to the ocean and solidified, and then broke up over time with the waves. And like this sand, we've all had many transformations in our lives, from our childhood to adulthood, motherhood, careers, and so on. And like this sand, life is a journey. In preparing for this speech, I realized I've lived many different lives entwined into one. I grew up here in Southern California with a wonderful family, 2 loving parents, and an older brother. And at 16, my first job was working for my parents. They owned and operated Homes Magazine here in Orange County. And I started with delivering magazines, advertising sales, and then eventually running the company until it sold 20 years later. My father, who had been a real estate broker for many years, instilled in me the love of sales. He used to say, "It's a numbers game," or "Bite the bullet," or my favorite, and a lot of realtors here will know this, "Don't get excited till the escrow closes." And this love of sales was the catalyst to the many different occupations that I have focused on. I've sold advertising in publications in the semiconductor and clean room industries, and in 2000 I attained my real estate license and worked under my brother selling home loans. Currently I manage 2 home-based businesses, one that flies kite surfers to Mexico, and the other providing custom components for a variety of different products. Oops. Shouldn't tell. Mike, my husband of 23 years, and I have 2 very special daughters. Ashley's my eldest, and she's now a mother herself with a 3-year-old daughter and another baby on the way next month. Brittany, whom you all know, works with Colby on her career and is furthering her education. Jordan is my granddaughter. She's my reward for not strangling my teenager. And my mom, she lives 5 minutes away. She is my rock. She's my support. She's wonderful. And then there is Boomerang, my trusty dog, who shows me unconditional love every day. I have many interests and hobbies, including kayaking and hiking and gardening, but travel is my most favorite. And I love to travel and experience nature, the local people and their customs, and I've been very, very fortunate to have traveled to many stunning and exotic locations. And along the way, there have been some very fascinating and humorous experiences. One example was a month-long trip my husband and I set out in on our single-engine Cessna from San Diego to the Panama Canal. And while in Costa Rica, we stayed in this gorgeous house in the jungle. And this jungle was home to a vast array of many creatures, large and small. And being a nature lover, I was in absolute heaven, until I had an up-close and personal experience with a 10-inch barbed-leg grasshopper that flew and lodged itself in my hair. And I'm sure you can picture the dancing and screaming that went on that day. And on this same day, we were graciously invited to a local's home for dinner. This was no ordinary dinner. A pig had been slaughtered 10 feet away from the dinner table and was now boiling in this hot vat of oil. And I was a little skeptical at first, but I thought, when in Rome, and I did. I'm glad I did. It was delicious. And after many adventures in Costa Rica, we set out for Panama. And we had planned to spend the day driving through the mountains of Boquete, and we stopped to take a picture of this old home that was leaning over. You just push it and it would fall over. And this old garrulous woman came out and asked us in, and she was really poor, but she was very content with little to no possessions. And on display in her front room was this homemade nativity scene that had various shapes and sizes of plastic animals and a blue-haired troll doll for the baby Jesus. Josephine showed us her medicinal plants in her garden that cured everything from athlete's foot to cancer. And my husband and I were so impressed with this woman's zest for life that we actually spent many, many hours in her home that day. It was a detour that was not planned, yet one that left us very humbled. The beauty of life's journey is you never know what's around the corner. And like the transformation of the lava to sand, we all evolve from our experiences and the people we share them with. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.